that brings us to the first topic that may be open. And news came out this past week, if it will come up on the screen, that theaters in New York are going to be reopening in a couple of weeks. But I want to know, is this too early? Do y'all think it's safe? Will you be in the theaters? And I have the report right here from Variety, which is a very reputable source. New York City movie theaters can finally reopen. Will people return? And it goes on to say, for the first time in nearly a year, New York-based movie theater operator Nicolau can breathe a sigh of relief. That's because Governor Andrew Cuomo announced that cinemas across the five boroughs could reopen starting next month, a potential reprieve for a sector of the entertainment industries that's been walloped by the coronavirus. And it just goes on to say that this dude right here owns about 3 theaters, and he's pretty much very excited. Again, this article is down in the description box. But what are the details of this so far? Let's go ahead and go over the details. It says that at 25% capacity, you can't operate profitability, he says, but he plans to restart his businesses anyway because he feels it would be proof that the coronavirus can't be traced back to movie theaters, he adds. Within a reasonable amount of time, we hopefully will be allowed to operate at 50%, which makes more economical sense. Larry, I'm coming to you first. I have my opinions on this, especially that last comment. But what do you think about this? What do you think about movie theaters opening back up in New York specifically? Do you think it's too early? And also, what do you think about this man's comments so far?
Man, where's Eman so I can argue with him about this?
Right. Where is he?
You know, man, I think it's too early. I think it's too early. I don't think it's going to go over well. And here's the thing that worries me. We keep on hearing about these new variants that are not responding, that these vaccines are not responding to with the same level of efficacy. So, I mean, I think it could be a disaster waiting to happen. And when I read this article, the interesting thing is that the older people that they talked to all said, nah, I used to be a big movie goer, but I'm not going back. It just doesn't seem safe. I'm not doing it. The younger people were like, yeah, I'll go back after I get vaccinated. And, but even then I'm be a little bit worried, and the capacities are really going to be what's sort of a deciding factor for me. And there was one dude in that article they talked to that said, oh yeah, I'm going back as soon as they're opened up. But this is a dude that has been going to the movies the entire time. He's like, yeah, I've been driving out to New Jersey to where they had an open movie theater. So this is not like some regular movie goer. This dude is like the hardest of hardcore dudes. And he said he drove out to some movie theater and saw the same movie like 6 times or something just because he wanted the movie experience, But even then, he even said, he said one of the reasons why I feel okay is because I go in there and no one's there. He was like, I go in there and it's a little eerie that I'm the only one in there. But he did say if they start to increase capacity and more people start to show up, he said that he might have to rethink it.
Let me go ahead and read that. His name was Brooklynite Antonio Harris, on the other hand, has no hesitation. He considers returning to cinemas as a restoration of some type of normalcy. With theaters in the boroughs closed, he's journeyed to Jersey City to get his fix, seeing Promising Young Woman 3 times. There was never anyone there, he says. It was an eerie feeling, but I was okay with it being empty. It was a bit of relief. And so that's just kind of more of what Larry was talking about. But go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think that it's, when you're looking at that situation where there's one dude who's basically like, yeah, I'm going to the movies because, well, no one's really here. So it's kind of nice in that respect, because if you can go to the movie theater, it's sort of like just renting out the theater without having to pay the rental fee because no one's in there, So, but once you start getting people in there, I can tell you right now, there's no way in Sam Hillbilly hell I'm going to sit inside of a room with 50 or 100 people for 2 hours. Not doing it. I'm just not going to do it. And I think there will be some people that do, but not enough to make it profitable. And eventually people who are running their business at a loss are going to have to shut their doors.
I hear you, my brother. And let me go ahead and address this real quick.
What a money reside, what a money reside, what a money reside, what a money reside. Okay, I told you before you.
Thank you so much, Capricorn Black, for the super chat.
You know, it was another interesting thing and we haven't quite got to it yet, but so I'll just briefly touch on it, and I won't say any more, so you can get to the rest of the topics. But when you start talking about shortening theatrical windows, it's gonna. I mean, it seems like they're getting shorter and shorter, and eventually, I think it's going away. I mean, we talked about this 10 years ago when I was in grad school about eventually going to day and date. And we see it happening now with Warner Brothers, and we're going to continue to see it happen. And I just don't see it going backwards. It's one of those things. Once you let the genie out of the bottle, you just can't put it back.
We're definitely going to get to that. And I do have an opinion on that. It is different than yours, but we'll get to it. But I just want to save it. But,
did you like how he slickly just said, "Nah, you're wrong, man"?
No. But hold on, but Capricorn Black, thank you so much for that super chat, real quick. And OneTakeBigDog, before I go to you, I just want to come back to this real quick and then go to the next quote. It says, "It's very important piece." I can't read. "It's a very important piece of the puzzle," says Paul Derogarbedian, a senior media analyst with ComScore. This will hopefully embolden studios to bring out their big movies. I don't want there to be a Pollyanna, but at least this gives us a shot of having some return to normalcy. That word actually, it's just like super duper excited people for no reason. You know, he don't want to be one of these overly optimistic. I found that funny when I was reading it. But OneTakeBigDog, how do you feel about all this, man? How do you feel about these comments? Do you think it's too early? And yeah, you know, how you feel about theaters opening back up in New York?
Well, see, it's so weird because once again, I'm in Louisiana where theaters have been open for, I want to say five months right now, 5 or 6 months. I want to say go all the way back to August. So, and I've been to the theater a few times, and I'm kind of like him in a sense because a lot of times I was the only person there. Or that might have been maybe a total. I think the most. Well, no, before Wonder Woman, I think the most I had been in there with was probably 12 people, and then they have stuff sectioned off. But here's probably the biggest thing that's probably gonna hurt in New York, and it's that some people may come out, but at 25% or 50% capacity, you already taking a chance. And with here, I think we're at like 75% capacity, and the whole thing though, theaters make their money off most of their money off the concessions,
right?
But
Turn it up.
When you're watching something, even me, when I'm going to the theater and I'm watching, my mask is on the whole time. I don't even really like getting concessions right now because you have to take your mask off to eat or drink or whatever. Right. So in New York, you're not opening up as big. And you in one of those big cities where it hits, COVID is everywhere. It's going to be hard for you to make money in the concession stand with only 25%, 50%. So I just don't see the purpose in it right now.
Great point, sir. And I'm going to piggyback off of that. First of all, this is how I feel about this. I'm going to take it back to the beginning. This quote right here, where the gentleman says, what is this the right quote? It was something he was saying that this can prove that movie theaters okay.
Oh, what he was talking about, I know.
Right, proof that coronavirus can't be traced back to the movie theaters. I personally just think that's ignorant. That's just dumb to me. I mean, goodness gracious, that's just stupid. So I was turned off a little bit just from that. Okay, this dude is cocky and arrogant. Like, I understand, man, that I don't understand. I don't own a theater. I'm not like, I don't have all that money in the bank that they get from that, so I can't relate. But I'm trying to sympathize. I can try to sympathize at least. I get what you're saying. Businesses suck for you for a year, but comments like this does scare me. Just my gut feeling. I do feel like this is too early. You know, they're talking about Black Widow will still open in May. I still think that's too early. I think that should be pushed to July, but that's just me. So March is just too early for me. One take Big Dog, you make a great point about like, because he was like, you know, they're only going to do it at 25% capacity. Do I think that's safe? Yes, I do. Because even here in Dallas, they will automatically block out seats when you try to book your tickets, you know, so someone can't buy some next to you. So that's cool right there. But at 25%, even he said this himself, it doesn't make that much economic sense because, like you said, they're not going to make any money, you know, off these concessions. You know, nobody's going to feel comfortable. Well, some people are, but most people are just not going to be there, let alone want to take off their masks to get concessions. So I just don't understand this. If you know, like everybody is thinking of new ways to try to bring in revenue right now. You know what I'm saying? Especially with these people being shut down for a year. And Larry, you're always talking about how as far as streaming, of course, we're going to be talking about that soon later on tonight, that somebody needs to come up with just some new innovative way to pull in money. Only way I think, what do y'all think about this right here? If theaters did open up at 25 to 50% capacity, however, it was 24 hours or early in the morning, late at night, so you can have more showings, but you just don't show movies. You know, you can show older movies, TV shows, or whatever, just to get people in there, because these studios, they're not going to want to put their movies out there anyway. Even if the theaters are open, half of them don't want to show their movies because they know nobody's going to go. So you're going to have theaters open at 25% capacity with no movies. And so, you know, I'm just throwing that out there. What do y'all think of that? Go ahead.
Well,
if you think it's crazy, you can say that. But
no, it's not that at all. It's just I'm actually looking how things are here, because right now I think in Louisiana they've been showing a lot of older movies. Like right now they playing like Boys in the Hood. I remember they was during Halloween they were playing Hocus Pocus, Elf, the Harry Potter's movies, Star Wars, a lot of the older movies. That's what they've been doing a lot. It's just you still have to think like, do I really want to go to the movie theaters to see this while this pandemic is going on? Like that, if that was like maybe after, like I could definitely see it, because I'm a person who, I didn't really start going to the theater till I kind of got older. So I would love to go back and see some of those films that I missed seeing in the theaters when I was younger. But at the same time, not right now though, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So it's definitely a way to bring in some revenue, but it's just during the pandemic, it's kind of tough.
Already. And I'll just want to shout out some people in the chat. You know, hey, how you doing, Aaliyah? Hey, BK coming through to say hello and check out the live. I hope theaters open back up out here in LA. I miss it so much. Yeah, I miss it too. And she's out there in LA. Capricorn Black, good point. What's up, Karma? Most of the workers are kids. Who's going to the staff to theaters? Y'all, you know, everybody making good points in the chat, and I appreciate it. I got 83 people in the box right now. That's what's up. I got 62 likes. Can I get 83 likes? But good point, One Take Big Dog. Larry, what you got? Anything else, man? Anything else?
You know, I don't know, man. I don't like it. I don't think that'll keep them open. I just worry about the health thing, and that theater owner that's saying that they want to prove that no coronavirus cases are being traced back to the theater. All it takes is one.
Thank you.
All it takes is one person that says, I've been diligently locked down in my apartment for the last 13 months. And as soon as they said it was okay to go out and go to the movie theaters, I went, and now I have coronavirus. And that's all it's going to take is one really public case like that, and the theaters will get shut back down. Or even if they don't get shut down, people will just be scared and they'll stop going, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll tell you, I honestly just believe that it is to the detriment of these theater owners to hold on to this old, antiquated business model that before the coronavirus was already looking at you know, I don't want to say it was looking at going out, but it was looking at going out. I mean, they were making a lot of money in the theaters, but people have been slowly moving towards streaming more and more and more. And I think that if the theater owners if they want to really try and hold on to something like this, the theater model, they should look at doing drive-ins, you know, and maybe even in some places where you have warm weather in the summertime or all year round, do walk-ups. I mean, people say it's safer if you're outdoors in an open air area. Set up like you have a drive-in theater, and set up a section where you can just walk up to the theater and have a lounge chair or whatever. They can just have chairs out there where you can sit out in the open air and watch a movie at a drive-in theater, I mean, you need to do something, and sitting inside of a room with 100 people, 150 people, 200 people, whatever, breathing everyone's air while people are laughing and gasping and all that exhalation.
You're right.
Nah, people don't want to be like that anymore.
You're right. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Take it outdoors. Let people be in their cars, and if they don't have cars, let them go to a place where they can walk in and go sit in an outdoor area.
I ain't mad at you, my brother. I ain't mad at you. Want to? You got anything else, man?
No, I agree with. I agree with Larry to an extent, because I don't think it's the same. I don't think. Well, I see it would make sense for the theater owners to do that, because I think that would be the responsible thing to do. But I think as like consumers, I don't think they get the same feeling as going like to being in a theater. But under the circumstances, we have to like make changes though.
Now let me ask you, because both of you brothers are younger than I am. Have you ever been to a drive-in theater?
Oh, it's been a minute.
No, I've never been to a drive-in
theater. Little kid. Yeah, they got some in my area, but yeah.
It's definitely an experience. If you haven't done it, if you Google drive-in theaters in your area, you find one, just go do it so you can see what the experience is like. It is a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun.
My partner from college and his wife, they go often.
Yeah.
I was, well, that doesn't matter, but yeah, I've heard nothing but good things. So I got one about 20 or 30 minutes from me, so I might have to hit one up.